This is the Sixth Man Show, an Orlando Magic podcast, with your hosts, Kevin Tucker and Jonathan Osborne, covering all things Magic basketball. By fans, for fans. Go Magic!
What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? You guys are back with the Sixth Man Show. Today is April 27th, 2025. Jonathan Osborne here, as always, joined by my co-host Kevin Tucker. Kevin, the Magic fall tonight, 107-98 in Game 4, and the Celtics take a commanding 3-1 series lead in the first round of this playoff series, and kind of feels over. I can't lie.
Oh, yeah. I'm as big a optimist and homer for Orlando Magic basketball as there is. Yeah, if they come back down 3-1 against the Celtics team, winning 2 games in Boston would be one of the wildest things in sports history. Genuinely, it's only happened 13 times. As I said so many times on the broadcast tonight, only happened 13 out of 300 times, 200 something times. I don't remember. So odds are very, 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 very stacked against the Orlando Magic. So, but they'll take it one game at a time.
I meant Tuesday, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like it's
correct.
over. I don't see this team coming back from Boston.
I don't either. Yeah, it would also be the most Orlando Magic thing ever.
True.
To just win on Tuesday, just for the heck.
And for the record, I would love nothing more than that.
Right.
Like, Magic go on the road, win a game, come back home for a game 6 with a chance to push it to 7. Like, Kia would be absolutely rocking. And we'll talk about this game in its entirety. I know you already talked a lot about it on the post game live. We had some technical difficulties there. We were going to do one post game live, but whatever was going over on there with my audio and echo, so we decided to do this. Before we talk about Game 4, I want to go back and talk about Game 3 and some of the Celtics' reactions to Game 3, complaining about the way that the series had been officiated at one point. Like Jaylen Brown saying, essentially I'm paraphrasing, but the referees need to get control of this series because it seems like the Magic, want to fight. And if they want to fight, well, we can do that too. And then Kristaps Porzingis complaining that, at times it doesn't even feel like basketball, etc. To me, it just felt like a team who's getting physically bullied. Now, they're still leading in the series, but getting physically bullied and beat up with hard, fair basketball, like sure, tough fouls, but nothing intentional, nothing dirty about it. But especially the Jaylen Brown comments, to me, felt like someone who was trying to manipulate the officiating of this series. And I don't want to say that it worked. I don't know how you feel. I felt that Game 4 was probably the best and most fairly officiated game of the series to this point.
Yep.
But from the reactions from Boston fans and just the way that a lot of the Boston players have conducted themselves throughout this entire series, I had a lot of respect for Boston fans and their players in that team heading into this series. And a lot of that is completely evaporated. Their fans have acted like complete losers, accusing our players of being dirty and trying to intentionally hurt their team because that's the only chance that we have at winning this series, etc. Their players essentially kind of accusing the Magic of the same thing and playing dirty and playing too hard, I guess. And it's really been unfortunate. It's been a lot of fun. I have loved the chippiness of this series. Like I enjoyed it last year with Cleveland, but this is just a few levels up from that. It feels like multiple points each game. Somebody may throw a punch. And I just love it. And I love the Magic's odds in that regard as well. It's just been a lot of fun. I wish the Magic were on the other end of this series up 3-1. But the chippiness and the competitive fire, especially from our guys, has been a lot of fun to watch.
Almost like chippiness, aggressiveness, and physicality make the playoffs more fun type thing.
Yeah, you would think so, right?
It's kind of what the playoffs are all about and have been since the history of the entire NBA. And then all of a sudden, this team suddenly thinks, oh, don't hurt us. Please don't be physical with us. We have a title to defend. Please. Come on, man. I've never seen anything like it, ever. Like, there's just no self-respect. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. I genuinely cannot, but like when we came into this series, I thought the talking points would be the Celtics are so much better than the Magic, and they proved that right. The Celtics are so much more talented and so much better constructed and better coached, and their scheme works better and all those things. Celtics in 4, Celtics in 5, Celtics in 6, whatever, and just outplaying the Magic all the way. I never thought the talking points would be that the Orlando Magic are too physical for the Boston Celtics, the defending champs. I never saw this coming. And the fact that that is the talking point after every single game by the Boston Celtics blows my mind. I just cannot believe it. It's crazy to me. But here we are. And I agree. I thought this was the best officiated game of the series. Maybe I'm especially just thinking about the fact that they went to go review a quote unquote flagrant foul and actually didn't call it a flagrant foul. It's amazing. It's amazing how that works sometimes.
And just to show that like this isn't our Orlando Magic bias showing, the Celtics still shot 12 more free throws than the Magic did tonight.
Yeah. It was the best officiated game, I thought. This is not a game where the Magic can blame the officiating. You know, I don't think really the Magic can fully blame the officiating for any of the 3 losses. It just came down to those last 4 minutes, you know, and other opportunities before that, of course, to maybe have a lead or grow a lead or whatever. But at the end of the day, Jason Tatum made plays over those last 4 minutes. I think Derek White made a couple plays over those last 4 minutes, and the Orlando Magic couldn't. And that was the difference in this game. The Orlando Magic were 44 minutes into this game and were right there. They were right there with making this a 2-2 series. And the last 4 minutes were the difference.
Yeah. A few things like regular season games, it always felt like there was could have been a handful of reasons why we lost. This was really rebounding. You're out rebounded 52-50. It looks kind of close there, but when you look at the fact that Boston had 11 offensive rebounds in this game, and then the free throw shooting, they were 30 for 32 at the line. Magic, maybe deserved a few more calls, but it did feel like Boston was the more aggressive team tonight at getting to the rim, and especially guys like Paolo and Franz, especially, they just looked completely gassed at this point of the series, and we kind of got what we've been begging for, which is other guys to step up. Corey Joseph, 12 points, 5 of 8 shooting. He had a really good game, 27 minutes. Anthony Black, 18 minutes, 10 points. It feels like you probably need 25 Anthony Black minutes a game.
Yep.
You have 2 Cole Anthony minutes. You have 18 Gary Harris minutes. Gary Harris is giving you good minutes defensively, but he's giving you literally zero points on offense. If you give him, or give Anthony Black 7 of Gary Harris's minutes, Anthony Black's only playing 25 minutes, and maybe he's able to give you another 6 to 8 points. Who knows? But Anthony Black, Wendell Carter, those 2 guys have probably been the Magic's best 3 and 4 players throughout this series. And you have an unfortunate shooting night from Paolo, 31 points, 12 of 32 from the floor. And although Tatum didn't have the most efficient night, he was 10 of 25 for 40%. It was the 14 free throws, and it was just the big contested shots, especially down the stretch. Paolo made the mistake of fouling Tatum. I think you're down 6 with 2:19 at that point. Tatum goes to the line for 3 free throws, puts them up by 9. The game is over at that point. But it is really just a handful of things. Rebounding, the Magic's free throw shooting, and Paolo just having an off night.
And you can add, yes, 100% agree. You could also add, which again, I know we added every game, but 3-point shooting, you're 8 of 30, 2 of 7. I know it's a given.
It's just kind of a default.
Given.
Yeah,
I know, but I still have to add it. I don't ever want to ignore it and say it's acceptable because it's just not. 26% is not acceptable. I know the Celtics are a great defense, but the Magic shot 26% a lot of this season. So it's not like I can just point to the Celtics defense that the Magic were down in their 3-point shooting. But 2 of 7 for Franz, 2 of 6 for Paolo. Wendell goes 0 for 1. KCP gets his first couple of threes in the last. Did he? He didn't hit one game 2 or game 3. I'm pretty sure. So these are his first 3 since game 1. Caleb Houston came off the bench trying to get hot, goes 0 for 3. AB 0 for 3. Gary 0 for 1. JI 0 for 1. You take away KCP and Corey Joseph, who were both 50%. You take away their 4 threes and their 8 attempts, and the Magic are 4 of 22 from 3. The rest of the team outside of Kojo and KCP. So abysmal. But again, I know it's par for the course, but I can't just skip over it. It's the biggest fatal flaw for this team. But you're right. Free throw line, you leave 6 points there. It's a tie game with 4 minutes to go. Like, you just can't get over that. And then, yeah, offensive rebounds. You hit it all on the head. Those were the differences ultimately in this game.
Like the Celtics come out and kind of punch first, like KP, Kristaps Porzingis, who didn't have a good game 3. He came out on fire in that first. And that was like the Celtics throwing the first punch. And to the Magic's credit, they were able to punch back and fight and claw back into the game each time the Celtics went on a run. But the Magic were just kind of always fighting back and not able to take control of the game, which was unfortunate. And what was kind of the difference in between game 3 and game 4, where the Magic came out and hit the Celtics first, and then you kind of were just able to keep them at arm's length for most of the game until they made the run at the end. And then you're able to make a few plays and you win the game. This was like the Magic would be down 9 and would cut it to 2, and Boston would get it back to 7, and the Magic would cut it to 3, and Boston would get it back to 7, and the Magic would get it back down to 2, and it'd go back up to 8, and then the Magic would tie the game, and then the Celtics kind of go on the big run in the final few minutes to close the game out. But the Magic are really, they're doing what they set out to do in this series, not in terms of like winning the game, but limiting Boston's 3-point attempts. 31, which is 17 below their season average, and like holding them to 43% from the floor, 29% from behind the arc. Now, you can't put them at the free throw line 32 times. Some of those calls were a little bit, kind of knick-knack calls. You're going to get those. But this game, it felt like the Magic were given much more of a chance to meet Boston's level of physicality. And for whatever reason, like Franz with 7 3-point attempts, Paolo for 6. He probably had at least another half dozen jumpers that he missed short, and kind of just felt like he was settling. It just feels like those guys are gassed. And the way that they kind of got more help in the home games last year against Cleveland, they're not really getting that this time around, where they're able to take a few possessions off. They're the ones having to bring the ball up almost every possession. They're the ones that are having to get the Magic into their offense. They're the ones getting the ball with 7 and 8 seconds left on the shot clock and either having to find the open man or force up a shot for themselves. And to their credit, they're doing that and still keeping the Magic in these games. And of course, now we're getting Celtics fans who are coming into the post-game live chat, who are coming at us on Twitter saying, "Oh my gosh, 3-1 lead. We're blowing you guys out, blah, blah, blah." Like, this has been a close series. It is 3-1, but other than game 1 where you lose by 17, you lose not by 9 in game 2, you win game 3 by 2, and you lose this one by 9. Like, if you would have told us, like, it's a 3-1 series, but this is what they look like, I think we all would have taken that rather than getting blown out in 3 games and barely clawing together one game. Like, the Magic have had a chance to win 3 out of these first 4 games. And we're not taking a moral victory lap or anything like that, but you do have to be proud of the way that this team is fighting and competing, and credit that they've been able to make it somewhat of a series to this point. Now, you and I both expect this to end on Tuesday in Boston, which is unfortunate. But the big positive of this series for the Magic, in my opinion, is there is no question on who is ready for these games, who we can actually continue to move forward with, and what areas we need to improve on and what we really need to bring in this offseason. If Jeff Weltman and his team, they're not able to go and get the job done, it's no one's fault but their own. There's no questioning, what should we do? It's incredibly apparent. You have like 5 to 7 guys on this roster who really seem ready for moments like this. And then the other guys on the roster, it's like, I'm not going to lose sleep. There's like 5 to 6 guys on this roster right now that, as much as I love them personally, at the end of the day, we want to see this team compete in the playoffs and compete for championships. And there are some guys on this roster that just don't seem like, at least this team, maybe another team, they're capable of playing in big moments and in big spots in the playoffs for other teams. But the way that this roster is constructed, there are some guys that are just not cut out for it. We quickly interrupt this episode to bring you a word from our friends over at Jam Hot Chicken. They are proudly serving the city beautiful and bringing jams, culture, and hot chicken to the heart of Winter Park. Jam Hot Chicken is a Nashville and LA-inspired hot chicken shack locally owned and operated in Winter Park. located at 400 West New England Avenue, Suite 13 in Hannibal Square. Be sure to follow them at Jam Hot Chicken on all social media. Check them out over at jamhotchickenfl.com to access their menu, order online, their music playlist, and all things Jam Hot Chicken. And now they're also available on Uber Eats for delivery locally. So if you're local to Hannibal Square, that Winter Park area, and you want Jam Hot Chicken, but you don't want to leave the house, download Uber Eats directly to your phone and get Jam Hot Chicken delivered to your door. A big shout out to our friends over at Jam Hot Chicken.
Also want to shout out Austin Lampy, Pierre A., Neck Snappa, Joshua Beckett, and Ray Pastrana. Who are those people? Those are 5 of our Hall of Fame and Elite tier patrons who financially support the Six Man Show over at patreon.com/the Six Man Show. Again, our patrons are people that have decided to go all in with us in our mission to help grow the Orlando Magic fan base and financially support all the things that we do, whether it's the content we provide, the watch parties, all kinds of other things like that. And so if you want to join our mission as well and financially help make all of these things possible, you too can go to patreon.com/the Six Man Show. Check out the different tiers that we have on offer. Pick the one that's best for you. So once again, that's patreon.com/the Six Man Show. Join us, and we always appreciate it. Let's get back to the episode. I want to ask a question, and it's going to kind of open up a can of worms that maybe I should wait till the off season. But I'm just, this has been like weighing on me as we reflect on tonight, and the Magic being, again, 4 minutes away from tying the series at 2 games apiece. Has this series against the Celtics, with all the asterisks, for the Magic, no Jalen, no Mo, has this series with the Celtics moved your timeline up at all? Like we've talked on the show many, many times that we're still 3 to 5 years away from being true NBA champion contenders, with Paolo and Franz hitting their prime in the next 3 to 5 years. I still think champion contenders might be accurate 3 to 5 years, but watching them play against the Celtics, really not just them, but the team and the structure that Jamal Mosley has in place. Now, again, I don't always agree with the rotations. I certainly don't agree with the roster, but the structure that Mosley has in place, combined with Paolo and Franz, makes me wonder if this team actually could, say, make an Eastern Conference final next year, if things are put together correctly. Has that changed for you at all?
This is going to sound dumb, but no, because who we're playing. Like we match up so well with the Celtics, like stylistically and other than the shooting, like roster wise, being is how like it's 2 elite wings versus 2 elite wings. Like we thought about that, and that was some of like the small level of confidence that we had that maybe we could make this series somewhat competitive, is because yes, we have played Boston really well, and just the way the Magic have been able to defend and limit some of the things that Boston has done really well all season. So yes and no. I would say like maybe not next year, but I do feel like the following year, if the right moves are made. Like if we have an A+ offseason, and not on paper, when we get to January and February and we look back and say, yes, this offseason was incredible, because we felt like this offseason was incredible this past offseason, and now here we are in almost May, and we're like, this Kentavious Caldwell-Pope signing seems like a complete failure at this point. Like, he's been solid defensively. You didn't really need a ton of defense. You were 2 or 3 in defensive rating last year. You needed to bring in shooting. The defense was an added bonus because, like, hey, we could be even better defensively next year, and you still finish second. Like, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, no Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. If Jalen Suggs stays healthy, this team still is second or third in defensive rating of the season. So I don't feel like defensively he moves the needle so much that him being essentially a negative offensively is going to make me feel that it was a successful signing. And that's not a criticism of Jeff Weltman, because we all thought it was a phenomenal move. It's just one of those things that it makes sense on paper. It doesn't really translate into good results on the floor for whatever reason. I don't know what that is. But so yes, I'm not ready to say just because we've looked, I don't want to say good, but we've reasonably held our own in this series against Boston, is given all the circumstances. But I do think 2 years from now, we will and should have a shot at making like a finals run. And then so much of this stuff is just matchup dependent. This team could look really good against Boston, and when you throw two rim protectors like Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Like if we were playing the Celtics in the first round, the way that they've looked against Miami, we very well could have been swept and lost each of these games by like 15 points apiece.
Right.
Now, maybe I would give us a little bit more of a chance because we saw kind of the history between those two teams, but I do think, they say styles make fights. Styles make playoff series. And I do think kind of our offensively, the styles aren't really the same, but just kind of the way that these teams are built outside of the shooting. I know how ridiculous it sounds, but I'm ready to bump it slightly, but I'm not like, oh man, we're ready to compete next year for a title or anything like that.
Yeah, I was just so like in my mind, like that whole contention thing was so far away, coming into the season, and really honestly, even into this series, I was still thinking like it could be 5 years, like really. But this series honestly has made me think maybe not. Maybe it is. Maybe 3 is actually the sweet spot. Maybe it's a little earlier than that. Maybe it's 2. I don't know. But again, next season, like fully healthy, assuming moves are made, this team has to get out of the first round, right? I think that's where we are trajectory wise. Like that has to be the expectation, which means that the right moves have to be made to fulfill that expectation, So, and obviously we're going to have a ton of time to talk about the offseason later.
What is it that you've seen that has changed your expectation?
Because and again, it probably does, a lot of it does come down to matchups, but coming into this series, I saw Boston as the most complete team, the best team in the NBA. And obviously the Magic have a ton of issues, a ton of weaknesses. But I really do think the scheme and the style at which the Magic play is going to make them competitive in any playoff series. I really believe that. And so I believe that now, I should say. Going into this series, I was like, I don't know. Like the Cavs last year, that they were not even close to the same team as this Boston team. But at the end of the day, this team is truly built on defense. This is a true team mentality. I mean, we talked about game 3, Paolo just totally deferring to Franz. Even tonight, Paolo deferred to Franz tons of times, and honestly, maybe should have done it more. But it's a team mentality. It's a defense mentality. And I think that transfers to any matchup. I really do. And I'm more convinced of that now than I was even before. So those are some of the things that I think have kind of swayed me a little bit in that direction.
For me, I did not think that Paolo and Franz would be at this level at this point. And like going into this season, we thought Franz would have a better year than he did this year, but nobody expected him to take the leap that he did. And then going into this series, I was like, yeah, Paolo played really well against Cleveland last year, but this is a different level in Boston, and he's risen to the occasion. Did not have a great game in game 4. Everybody can talk about that, but we can also just recognize that he's been unbelievable, and the series is over at this point without Paolo Banchero. You're on your way to Cancun right now if it wasn't for Paolo Banchero. And Franz Wagner, like this series has shown me that their games are built for the playoffs.
Right.
Like
exactly.
Whatever you want to say about Paolo's efficiency and all that kind of stuff, like look at Jason Tatum tonight. What was it? 37 points, 10 of 25, 40% shooting from the floor, 30% from the 3-point line, 14 of 14 at the free throw line. Now Paolo needs to start making his free throws. He's been abysmal there in this series, was much better after the All-Star break through the end of the regular season, but has been hanging around like 50% for this series, and the 5 for 9 tonight is not going to do him any favors. I think he's around like 55, 56% from the line in this series. He's got to be better there. Absolutely has to be. But like that Tatum performance shows you, like, you don't have to shoot 50, 40, 90 every single night to be effective as like a primary option in the playoffs. You're going to have games like this. You're going to have series like this where it's just kind of a bar fight. And that's what we've seen so far through 4 games with the Celtics here. But yeah, like Paolo and Franz going up beyond the level that I expected this season has made me reconsider what the timeline is. And I do think next year, if you're not playing in a 6 or 7 game series in the second round, season is a complete and utter failure and people need to be fired. 100%. I'll say that now, and I'll repeat that a calendar year from now if that doesn't end up being the case. If that does not happen, you probably need a clean house. Like GM, coach, everything. Hard reset. Let's get some fresh eyes, a fresh perspective. Not saying that's going to happen. I don't want that to happen. But like, this is where we are now. The standard is being raised to another completely different level. Last year it was, okay, everything's house money. We had a competitive first round series. This year, everything went to crap with injuries. You can't continue to have excuses as why you're not moving forward. Success is not linear. We're seeing that this year. You're probably not going to have a 7-game first round series. You weren't as high of a seed as you were last year. We took a little bit bump down. Next year, we've got to have a little bit of a bump back up, and that is a second round playoff series. But yeah, man, this sucks. Really proud of the way that Paolo and Franz have played in this series, and it's been good to see other guys step up a little bit and show that they can be a factor in a big series like this. But you just don't have enough, and we knew that was going to be the case.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be the case, and I think that's part of what hurts so much is like, if this team had just gotten outclassed through 4 or 5 games and it was just like, we're nowhere near them, like just not even the same stratosphere, I think it would feel differently. But I think that's part of why it hurts so much, because it's especially this game 4, but even game 2 just felt very winnable. Like it was right there, and this team just couldn't do it. And so in some ways it's encouraging. In some ways it's, again, a reminder that we're just not there yet. That's fine. And I just hope, I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't, but I hope that the front office doesn't look at it and go, well, look at us. No. We were just Jalen and Mo away, and this is, I hope that doesn't happen.
It's completely unacceptable. Like the Magic's defense is one of the few teams in the league that I think are equipped to do this to Boston in terms of like limiting the 3-point attempts and like really be physical. They go into the next round, which at this point one plays 8 and then the winner of 4-5. So who is the next matchup for the Celtics? Is it looking like it's going to be Indiana, or would it be, I guess the Knicks are up 3-1. Who is Boston going to see in the next round here?
The Knicks.
The Knicks.
Yeah.
I mean, the Knicks a little bit, but I don't think to the same level as the Magic. I think Boston's offense is going to be a much bigger factor, in their next series. I hate kind of already saying it's over for the Magic, but like we all knew that going into this series, this was probably one of the most likely outcomes, losing in 5 or losing in 6. And it feels like you don't have enough. And, your chance to show that, hey, maybe we do have enough was games 3 and game 4. And you're getting like your third leading scorer is Corey Joseph with 12 points. I don't think the Magic outside of Paolo and Franz have had anybody crack 15 points in this series. Have we?
Shout out Corey Joseph, by the way. This isn't fantastic. Meant to be laughing at Corey Joseph. Like, he was great. He was very important to this game, but it also shows the state of the roster, right? Like, if that's the case, then it's tough. It's really tough.
I'm trying to pull up Basketball Reference here and look back at what we've seen so far in this series, because I genuinely don't think the Magic have had a player outside of Paolo and Franz score even 15 points in this series. Going back and taking a look at
probably not.
Game 1. Where are we here? Basketball Reference. What are we doing? Yeah, your third leading scorer. That's right. That was the JI game with 7. The next game there. Okay, Wendell had 16. In game 2 and in game 3. Your third leading scorer was, nope, that's not it. Basketball Reference really letting me down here.
That's all right.
We know it hasn't been good. Was Wendell Carter Jr. with 10 points. So 16 points from Wendell in game 2 is the most amount of offensive help that the Magic have had in this series.
That's crazy, man. Crazy. Not good enough.
Hey, there's something fun that I want to talk about at the end here, but is there anything else that you want to talk about in this series before we...
No, I want to know what's fun right now. Please tell me.
Well, first of all, let's see, is the line been posted for that next game? Yeah, Boston is favored by 12.5 on Tuesday's game, which tips off at 8:30, by the way, on NBA TV. 3 watch parties, Wall Street, Stadium Club, Social House. I'll be at Wall Street. So come on down. or if you're looking for a different kind of environment, you can't go wrong with Stadium Club or Social House. Each place is going to be a great time. Very much looking forward to Game 5. Hopefully, the Magic, I would love nothing more than like a legendary Paolo and Franz performance and the Magic squeak out a Game 4 or Game 5 win in Boston and bring it back home. What would that be? Friday? I think it's next Friday would be Game 6, Thursday, if I remember correctly.
Thursday.
Is it Thursday?
6. Yep.
Well, we hope that is the case. Kevin, we got a video from someone during Game 3 of someone in attendance watching the Orlando Magic, donned in a hoodie, seemed like they didn't want to be seen or noticed. And it was none other than Anthony Simons, Portland Trailblazer guard and hometown kid. And it just made me instantly think back to Yusuf Nurkic when he got traded to the Hornets. And when they played here, him saying in the locker room, they need to go get my little friend from Portland. It seems like it's something. Like Anthony Simons, he's from here, maybe just in town visiting family, wanted to go out and watch a Magic game, but you're there in a hoodie trying not to be noticed. It's probably nothing, but it feels a lot of fun, and it could be anything.
I was about to say, I don't know if it's anything, but it is definitely something. It's not nothing. It's definitely something, right? Like there's a lot of things you could be doing on a Friday night. You try to sneak into the biggest Magic game of the year and think no one's going to notice you. I don't know. It almost worked, by the way. Almost worked.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was down there and we were down there, but I didn't see him. We were down there. We got tipped off by someone else. So, it was pretty cool.
Had it not been for that video, I don't think most Magic fans ever come to know that he was at that game. Yeah. And of course, it just sparks the rumors. Nothing would be better / worse than Anthony Simons, the guy who's never made an all-star team, to come out and demand a trade and say, I've got a list. And it's the Magic. God. Right? Like, at what point do we get to that? Right? Like, right now, it's superstar level players that come out and say, demanding a trade. I have a list of these 2 or 3 teams. At what point do we start seeing like the next echelon of NBA players like coming out demanding a trade and saying, hey, this is where I want to go?
I don't know about that, but like this specific situation, Portland's got the guard situation in pretty good shape. If Anthony Simons decides, I want to go, I'm sure they'd probably oblige if he was very adamant. But I don't know about like mid-level stars.
What would be the craziest thing ever? They didn't trade Damian Lillard where he wanted to go, but they're going to trade Anthony Simons where he wants to go.
Yeah, exactly.
That would really be something.
I wasn't going to mention it, but since you said Damian Lillard, I don't know if you've seen since we've been recording tonight what happened.
I know there was a serious injury, and Chris Haynes reported that it's believed to be pretty serious.
Achilles. Yeah, it looks like the Achilles, yeah.
Have they confirmed that? Have they said yet. Achilles? Has the reporting said Achilles?
Some of the reporting...
The video, he grabs that general area.
I don't know that any reporting has said it's believed to be the Achilles, but...
We used to get those Woj bombs,
Sorry, Chris Haynes did say that. The fear is Buck star Damian Lillard suffered a left Achilles tear.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that crazy, horrible, man? I hate injuries, dude. It's crazy.
Hey, look at our injury luck and then look at the injury luck that the Pacers have had the last couple of seasons in the postseason.
It's crazy.
Went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and now they're going to be matched up with the Cavs in the second round. That's going to be a heck of a series.
Very
Indiana and Cleveland, and hopefully Indiana is able to stay healthy. Or both Indiana and Cleveland are able to stay healthy in that matchup. But
I just say something else really fast? You talk about New York and Detroit. That game was insane today, by the way. If you've got nothing to do Monday morning or something,
Jason Tatum got a call that Tim Hardaway did not tonight.
That's true. Yeah, but if you're bored, you're like...
Very similar.
Just go watch the fourth quarter of that game. That was the most outrageous fourth quarter ever. But what I was going to get to, you mentioned Knicks would play the Celtics. It's a weird place to be, but at this point, I am going to root so hard for the New York Knicks in that series, bro.
Badly.
So hard. Like I might don some orange and blue, and I never do that. I might intentionally go out of my way to get some orange and blue.
Absolute sicko.
I know.
You know
I
what?
am.
I'll do that. Not the orange and blue, but I'll be rooting for the Knicks, if for none other than our good friend Andrew Claudio and our friends over at Knicks Film School.
Yeah,
and because it would just rock to see the Celtics lose.
Would be awesome.
Even though you and I both would pick them to win the title, even though they haven't looked great against us.
Right.
I still think they're the best team in the team.
I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I'm talking about the Knicks. If the Celtics win in the first round, that's obviously still a big if, but if they advance to the second round and play the Knicks.
Right.
Just kidding. Yeah.
All right. I think that's going to do it for this one. Yeah. On to game 5, big one in Boston. It's literally do or die time. Just a quick aside. I mean, we'll talk about this if and when the Magic season comes to an end here, but just like we did last year, when the season's over, we're going to take like a quick little week off just to catch our breath, and then we'll be right back into it. So if you're newer to the show and you think that the coverage is going to end just because the playoffs end, again, we'll take a quick little 1 week break, but then we're right into pre-draft, off-season, free agency, the draft, everything like that, all the way up to the start of next season. So we'll be looking forward to that.
Yep. But the season is not over yet. We got at least one more game. Let's take it one game at a time and see what happens. And it might just be one game, by the way. So we'll see.
Right. All right. Let's wrap this one up. GG's, Boston. That's going to do it for this one. For Kevin Tucker, this has been Jonathan Osborne. You all have been listening to the Sixth Man Show, and we will catch you guys next time. See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Sixth Man Show. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and Spotify to get new episodes downloaded directly to your phone. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to give us a 5-star rating and a review. It helps out the show a lot. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sixth Man Show. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Magic!